Hello viewers, supergt here. I'm back on NASCAR 25 to find out if we can have another healthy, lovely dose of clean online racing. Just like this. This was the previous video where we got through turn 1 pretty much unscathed. We're hoping for a repeat here. Back at Chicago. Let's see if we head into turn 1, get on the brakes really early, if the guys behind are willing to cooperate. Fortunately, that's not going to be the case. Of course, there's going to be absolute carnage into turn 1. It's going to get worse into turn 2. Take a look at this. This guy goes flying into the wall. That is something we would probably rather see on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater rather than on a racing game. I found myself then in 5th after all of that. Nothing really to do with any sort of skill, more just getting through with sheer brute force. And coming through here, quite a number of right-hand corners, obviously troubling most NASCAR drivers. We move up into 4th, up behind Dubs only, my guy, who, just like me, we're going for the win. We're going for that dub. Let's see if we can do it. Now, the reception for the first NASCAR video I made about a week ago was very positive. Well, I say positive, I mean kind of laughing at the game half, as this guy goes flying into the apex. They do say to hit the apex, but not like that. As he goes flying in. And we're about to witness one of the worst overtakes ever, as we both kind of make an absolute shambles of this corner. He hits the apex again, smashes into the outside wall. I smashed into the wall as well. I gained the position after he ghosts out. One of the worst overtakes you're ever likely to see. As we're bouncing off the barriers left, right and centre here. It's really just shocking racing. And motorsport fans around the world are dying a little bit inside every time I do this. Now, coming into turn 1 again, our good friend from behind is going to come flying in with an almighty dive bomb. I managed to survive, unlike these guys who are still here from lap 1. So many casualties and deaths from that first lap incident. Now, coming through turn 2, our good friend is having a hard time keeping his car in a straight line. So now, thankfully, I can focus on looking forwards and trying to get that dub off of Dubs only, my guy. This guy's getting lapped in a 2-lap race. You'd love to see it. Anyway, coming down here, this corner proving to be a tricky one. And we're gaining here. We got a good chance of winning this, as I thought the race was kind of settled down, as Dubs only goes flying into the wall. Side-by-side contact, it doesn't look the prettiest, does it? Once again, bouncing off the wall, as we're going to perform a lovely switcheroo here. And then years of experience in ramming and online multiplayer and racing games is going to come into effect here. Boom, look at that. Turned away from him. Absolutely beautiful scenes. You can hear me laughing in the background. As we've seen this one before, haven't we, guys? He appears in the mirror. We're going to turn left into a right-hander. And before you know it, this guy's going flying straight on, perpendicular into the wall. I actually go underneath him here. Beautiful scenes as we escape. And lovely. That's exactly what we want to see. Crossing the line in 2nd with yet another incredible shameful rammers avoidance. I'm going to move on to the next track. And I was going to say this is Daytona. It's not Daytona, but it looks like Daytona. No, it is Daytona. Anyway, we're going to find ourselves in a nice solid 30th position. And just look at that group up in front. I think physics dictates that that group will not stay like that. It won't end well, especially when one car goes flying off to the left like that and rejoins at a horrific angle. My goodness, I mean, I don't know what kind of thoughts were going through his head there, other than I want to just end my race right now and the race of pretty much everyone else. Somehow the herd continues, so these guys are having a nice little entanglement down on the low line. And once again, I mean, let's just pause it there. There's a 0% chance that this ends well, with 10 cars side by side crossing the line going into lap 2. This is the diabolical nature of NASCAR that we're seeing here. And once again, look at this, a car coming flying in from the low line straight into the high line. I mean, it's accepted that you kind of change your trajectory a little bit in racing, but the angles we're seeing today, guys, is absolutely off the charts. It is quite stupendous. And I would argue frowned upon, especially when you're causing multiple deaths as these guys are. Anyway, I found myself in 11th, really losing touch there with the group in front. You know, once you lose your momentum, it's really difficult to catch back up, of course, unless they start crashing into each other like they're doing here. And I'm out of breath. Same here, mate, with all these crashes going on. I'm barely able to breathe at the sheer audacity of some of these drivers. Anyway, we gained a few positions here, back into 8th. We're gaining on the group in front, so the momentum is with us. As we get back into the slipstream, we've been thrown a bone here. Now, there's going to be an investigation here. We're going to pause in just a moment as we go 4 or 5 abreast here. Casual scenes. Now, let's just pause it there for a moment, because you might notice that we've got 3rd place, then 2nd and 1st. So what does this guy over here have to do with this battle? This guy in red? Well, he's not in this battle really, is he? So what he's going to do is do the classic left to right line and wipe everyone out. So the back marker coming in there, we could essentially call him a house robot from Robot Wars, just coming in for good measure, just for no real point, just for his own pleasure really, to destroy everyone else's race. And somehow after all of that I found myself still in 8th. As we continue, lap 5 here, trying to regather ourselves, as once again we've got a couple of cars flying off to the left and coming back on. And this is unfortunately where my race unravels, as we have an entanglement here with the 87. I try to keep it under control. It doesn't quite happen for me, as we're going to end up driving backwards. And that's going to be a bit of a theme actually, driving backwards in later portions of this video. So this race, bit of a disaster, crossing the line in 18th. The spotter there saying it was okay to finish top 20, but it's not when you're in with a good shout of winning and then someone decides that they're going to turn right into a left-hander. So the next race started 3rd, you know, quite a lot higher up this time. This one wasn't going to end well. In fact, it started really badly. The pit manoeuvres are out in force today. I somehow get spun 180, then back another 180 to face the same way and continue. Save of the century there. But we are dropping positions like a stone here. And there's our friend in the red car, who is inevitably going to start wiping people out once again. So I'll drop down to 28th. Awful start, given we started 3rd. Now I'm, you know, it's my turn to start killing people for no reason at all. I think that's just part and parcel of what NASCAR 25 represents in the online multiplayer section. It's just really kill or be killed. And once again, look at this. This is a special type of kill, the reverse kill, and it's taken out my aero. So now I have no speed left in the car. Isn't it just incredible when you're driving along and the car's just facing the wrong way completely on the middle of the road? Well, let's move on to another race, shall we? Because that one was an absolute disaster. And I think I seem to have joined a lobby which is only Daytona. Now this one was a complete failure, because I turned the assists off, and it just shows you how difficult it is actually when you turn them off. It's actually really not easy at all. Very easy to lose control of the car. And this proved to be the case once again. It's as if I can't drive. And NASCAR 25 is very sobering, a very sobering experience as a seasoned racing game player. To now suddenly be spinning out every 2 seconds because I have the assists off. So we turn some of them back on, and we arrive at Watkins Glen, a track with more right-handers than lefts, which in NASCAR is absolutely insane. So let's take a look at this one. Heading down towards first corner in 27th place, as we're going to lift off the gas nice and early, allow everyone else to take themselves out. Now this is really a case of just trying to find the gaps and the spaces, as we have a bit of a gap on the left hand side here. Now let's just slow this down, because you can see this almighty gaggle here kind of moving, morphing over to the left, and inevitably physics dictates that they're going to move back to the right. So I try to move to the left, and I just about do enough to get through, and I find myself up in 13th. I'm pretty sure Sir Isaac Newton wrote about this in his thesis about physics back in the day, backed up of course by Albert Einstein. It's just physics 101. If a big almighty gaggle of cars is going through the S's of Watkins Glen in a massive group, on the left, inevitably they're going to go to the right. And, well, Isaac Newton, once again, proven to be correct. What an absolute legend. We now find ourselves up in 7th, courtesy of some splendid evasive manoeuvres earlier in this race. It's given us a chance here of a solid result. We begin getting pushed here through the final couple of corners up into 6th place. Now, for those who remember the Shameful Rammers video back on Forza 6, it was in fact into this very corner where that happened, and we almost get clattered into once again. Shameful Rammers are eternal. It's just the one true constant of racing games. They will never truly disappear. As we come through here, I mean, this is some of the least clean racing you're ever going to see. I mean, look at that overtake. That's just an average NASCAR 25 multiplayer overtake, really, to be honest. In any other game, that would be considered pure filth. But in here, it's kind of just normal. And you see there my lack of ability to keep the car under control on the exit. I must say that playing this in chase cam with a controller is fun, but it is also quite janky. Not easy to keep the car in fine control. Anyway, that race, I finished 5th. I think that's a solid result, given I started towards the back. We move on to Worldwide Technology Raceway, the 1.25 miles circuit. I've never really heard of it. I don't really know this one. You have to turn left a couple of times. So that much is obvious. But it's one of these sort of mid-speed or lower speed ovals. No, I say mid-speed. Correct me if I'm wrong, NASCAR fans, but there are tighter ones than this, I suppose. As we're going to lose a lot of speed here, and I don't know if, I mean, again, for those who have played this game seasonably and know it very well, as we have a wall rider here, just let me know about the best assists to use. So I'm trying to work it out still. Sometimes I think you do want some, but you don't always want them. Anyway, we've got a lot of wall riding going on here, and this became the theme of this race. As I settled into 7th place here, you see this car in the rearview mirror having a lovely time, doing a sick drift through the final corner. I dropped him by a couple of seconds, and then I was wondering how was he managing to catch back up. Well, the answer was obvious, because he was flying into the corner without braking, using the wall, getting good rotation, and coming out with a good 100 or 200 meter gain on me. Now, I was aware of this going into the final lap of 6, of 7, whatever it is. I thought, you're not going to do that to me. So as he comes flying in, I cut him off. Boom, off you go, mate. I'm prepared to lose positions here to not allow you to go through with a wall ride. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So I started all of this in 5th, now down to 6th, now down to 7th, and possibly even more positions I'm about to lose here. So this was a worthy sacrifice, I hope, in the name of preventing wall riding. But we're going to lose a position here to Base Knock 02, who kind of came out of nowhere. As we head towards the line, I'm going to finish in 5th, so I actually didn't end up losing positions out of all of that. Anyway, next race, don't you hate it when you're just driving along and then Hogmolly76 decides to reverse and turn across backwards in front of your path? It's one of the most annoying and frustrating things in motor racing. And that's exactly what's going to happen here on this next race, around this track. Again, I don't know, this is Echo Park, I believe. Looks kind of like Daytona, but it's not Daytona. So, you know, I'm slowly learning the circuits, because even though ovals kind of look the same, they're definitely not. They're definitely not. They all require their own different nuances, how you enter the corners and how much speed you can carry and which line you need. Look at this, all over the grass. The mess is well and truly back. That's another universal constant with NASCAR, is that clean racing does not exist at any of the circuits. So we're going to hurtle down the back straight here, settled into 9th, back on the main straight, 7 laps to go. There we go, that guy going for a nice little spin, getting pushed against the wall here. It really is a big mess, and I'm really hoping that we can work this out here, because the group in front is beginning to pull clear. And we need to get our act together here if we want to try to catch back up, rather than start battering each other into the wall. There goes Hogmolly and someone else out of nowhere across the grass. As I move down to 10th, we're losing some positions here. This isn't good enough, and this guy kind of decides, you know what, I don't really agree with the track layout, so I'm going to cut across the grass and invent my own one. Moving here to lap 8, the chaos continues. I was losing touch with this second group here, and it was getting worse and worse for me until they started fighting quite heavily here on the back straight. Hogmolly 76 having an awful time with fishtailing. Unfortunately, it's going to result in me spinning 180, getting pushed back around. A sickening recovery there. Then there's Hogmolly turning back into my path. We're going to smash into the barrels on the pit lane entry. Oh my goodness. It's all kicking off here, guys. Somehow I remain alive. I mean, my life, there was probably a 98% chance I was going to be involved in a fatality there. Somehow it didn't turn out to be the case. The gloves are off now, as if they weren't already. I'm going to try and recover some positions late in this race. Is it going to be possible? Select rehab here in our path. Can we do anything about them? Well, later on in the race, last corner here, trying to recover one more position if we can. Can we get a top 15? Arch here is going to turn across. I'm not going to have any of it. He's going to go flying into the wall. I'm going to lose a position as a result. We finished 16th in what was an incredibly messy race. We then move over to Echo Park once again, proving to be one of my better tracks, I think. I think the more open the track is, the better I tend to do. I mean, the best tracks for me are probably the street circuits, where there's right-handers. But on the ovals, maybe Daytona and Echo Park are the ones where I tend to do better. And we're starting towards the back end of the pack here, and that's not always a bad thing. You kind of just got to pick your way through and just pick your moments, wait for the opportunities to arise, and then just, you know, as we discussed earlier with the thesis by Isaac Newton, when you discover the big group being shimmied from left to right, you just got to escape it and go on the low line, as Isaac once said. So now we find ourselves here up in 11th, so some solid progress being made. Now in 10th, and just trying to not get spun out. Now look at this guy. This was a shameful ramming attempt. Waiting for everyone, turning across and completely missing the entire pack, bouncing off the wall and disappearing into the background. I mean, that was one of the worst attempts at ramming I've ever seen. He had the entire track. He had a massive group of cars to try and aim for. That's like throwing it into the gutter in bowling. I mean, that was just absolutely shocking. He should just delete the game and never play it again. That was that bad. Really, just honestly awful. And if a ram is actually good at what they do, then it's like, okay, well, respect, you're good at it. I mean, that was just shocking. You should just give up the whole ramming game. Anyway, we continue here, making some solid progress now. I was worried once again that we were going to get cut adrift from this leading group. But myself and one other guy here trying to make some work to get back into this group. Now the green car in the lead is just beginning to escape here. We get a nice push from behind, and this gives us the momentum here. Just roll it around the outside. We've got some good draft here, and can we just get ahead of the 24? Yes we can, and get into the slipstream of the leader. This has kind of worked out really nicely here. So we're behind the leader in the slipstream. We can just try and drive really smoothly, and it's a lot easier to do when you don't have someone alongside you. Just to keep the left stick on the controller a little bit smoother, to really follow in that slipstream. Now, of course, we do have the incoming threat of that back mark who's up in front in the near distance, but we're not going to worry about that for the time being as we head on to lap 7. 2 laps left to go. This could be perfect timing, you know, just trying to not get into the slipstream too much on the corner. We're going to save it for the straight as we come back onto the back straight here. Tucking back into the slipstream, getting that momentum, 183 miles per hour down the back straight. And I should have seen this coming. I've been avoiding the shameful rams quite well today until this moment here. Unfortunately, we get involved in the collision. We're going to lose crucial momentum as the white flag is flying with 1 lap left to go. Absolute disaster. And we're not going to get our race win at this rate. Absolutely shocking. We even find ourselves up behind Bold and Bootiful now. And it's Super GT versus Bold and Bootiful to the line. I'm going to get the 4th, but a disappointing end. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed as ever. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.